We also have a tendency to say yes more often. Like if there's something that we don't do,
Yep.
aren't good at or don't want to do, we'll say no. Contractors oftentimes are a little hungrier and need to say yes to things. So when I first started out, I might have said yes to things that I might not have been entirely, had a deep set of skill sets in because you wanted the business.
Yep. I heard Alex Hermosi say something. I think it was him. He basically said strategy is what you say no to, not what you say yes to. And I was like, ooh, that's an interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah, it is
like that. But it's true. The more, the better you get at this, and the more you grow your agency or business in general, you're saying you're saying no to more than you're actually saying yes to as you go. We turn down more leads than we take in. We turn down more work than we take on. It's just because it doesn't fit the model we built for ourselves and the assembly line that we're wanting. And Mark, I know you're going through the same thing, and Nick, I know you go through the same thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is that when you work in an agency, we work with a wide array of clients. You learn a lot from that wide array that you might not learn if you have 5 clients that you're managing. So we learn from, a little bit from every experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you touched on something there that we could say to anybody that's going from a consultant to an agency. Or there's a lot of consultants out there that I know that are trying to turn themselves into being a full-on agency, but you hit on the right on the head there with the saying no more. And that's something I tell people when I talk to them, like, well, how do you do this or this? Like, you have to get disciplined in saying no to people.
Yep.
You have to know that, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, unless that's a niche or unless that's something that you're trying to work on or wanting to learn, to add to your arsenal. Walk away from that and be nice about it too. Like, a very good example is we don't do what Ed does really well. So we introduce Ed to a couple people. Typically it's a couple people a month lately, but hey, we don't do that. We've got the best in the business that does that. Everybody thinks, well, real estate's real estate, so you probably do cash for homes. No, we don't. It's just not.
And we don't do retail.
Right.
Same boat.
Yeah.
You nailed it, man. You got to be nice about it, but it's you're going to upset your team. You're going to break your internal system. You start saying yes to things you shouldn't be.
Yep.
That was my specialty.
Yeah.
For quite a while. Yeah. Just pissing off the team. And
yeah. I hear you. If you're watching this and you're stuck having a hard time saying no or coming up with strategy for your business, an awesome book on the topic is The Pumpkin Plan by Michael Michalowicz, guy from Clockwork and Profit First and a bunch of Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, a bunch of good books. He's an awesome author. Pumpkin Plan is about basically identifying your best customers and getting more of them and saying no, basically putting the blinders on to everything else around you. So if you're stuck on it and want a book on strategy, highly recommend that. If you guys haven't read that, it's an awesome book.
Pumpkin Plan. I'll put that on the list.
Well, when you look at hiring an agency as opposed to a contractor, when we look at whether we can offer a service, we have to look at, can we truly build it into our platforms? Do we have systems for it? Do we have processes for it? Can we ensure it's done correctly?
Mm-hmm.
So it behooves us to say no sometimes, but to that contractor, they might be more willing to just say, yes, I'll figure it out. I've said that in my head a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can figure it out. And then you have to go figure out a new platform that you have never worked in before or something.
Yep.
Yeah. And we also do, as Nick was saying, I think Nick and I were trying to throw clients back and forth a couple of weeks ago. And I've got a friend that's just e-commerce. So when something complicated comes up that's e-commerce, I just say, this is the guy you should talk to.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. E-com was one of those things that we pushed away. I want to say one thing about saying no to clients. There's certain niches that we don't operate in just because the margin might be low and it's going to be hard for them to get enough clicks, to get enough leads, to get enough jobs, to get an ROI on not just the ad budget, but a management fee. And what I want to mention is it doesn't mean that Google Ads isn't good for you. It just means that having a management company managing it for you isn't probably a good fit. And in that case, you probably need to learn it yourself. And then you just got to ask yourself, is it worth your time to learn how to do this skill or find another lead source? So you just have to weigh the pros and cons of that. And I have that conversation with people sometimes that we turn away and they're like, why? It seems like it'd be a good fit. And I'm like, yeah, but at your current budget, do you think it makes sense based on everything we know? My competitor is doing, yeah, but your competitor is spending $5,000 a month. Think about the amount of leads, jobs, customers they're getting and the return they're getting versus spending 500. So
Right.
just do that math out. And I just wanted to throw that out there because I hear that sometimes, and I don't want to shy people away from Google Ads. I just want to strategically shy them away if it's not good for their budget based on what they're spending.
Right. Yeah.